there was not always Maybelline or Revlon or MAC makeup brands, and makeup and cosmetics has been coming through and has been in our history for so many years. And there's different forms of cosmetics and makeups that have taken place, and they all happened like centuries ago. And have you ever wondered like where your hair dye came from, or where your nail polish came from, or anything like that? I kind of wondered that too, so I did some research about who made it and where did all our makeup come from in the history. And in the book, A History of Makeup by Maggie, Egyptians valued their hair length with their masculinity, which they thought that long hair meant that they were very masculine and had a lot of strength. They also used perfume balls in their hair, and they would put them like by their scalp throughout the day. Then they would melt into their hair and make them smell a lot better. And then a lot of the scents they use today in Egyptian times are the same scents that we use today in like our perfumes. And back then, an ancient Egyptian god called Ani, his wife has the first toilet box is what they called it, which was like a makeup bag where they put their makeup in, and that's at a museum and is on show now because it was from way back then. They also like to use egg white face masks because they were worried about having wrinkles and looking old, so they wanted to look young, so they thought that egg whites made their wrinkles go away. From the Asian Journal of Pharmaceuticals, the word cosmete was first used to describe Roman slaves whose function was to bathe men and women in perfumes. So, now that you know a little bit about the basics of cosmetics, I have found a great timeline, and Cosmetics Info was a website that helps put a timeline to the creation of all the different popular cosmetics that were created. In 10,000 BCE, scented oils were a big thing, and they were used for religious reasons, beauty reasons, and good health reasons. Some of the most popular ones they used was chamomile, lavender, peppermint, and olive oil for their scents. And in 4000 BCE, they used a lot of copper, lead, and ore and malachite for their eye makeup, which they would blend different colors together, and then that allowed them to have different colors on their eyelids. They also like to use coal for like their eyeliner on their eyes. And a big popular thing during that time was almond-shaped looking eyes. So nowadays, like cat eyes are a popular thing with eyeliner. They like to use a lot of like almond-shaped eyes, which you can see in like if you've ever looked at old Egyptian stuff, you can see their almond-shaped eyes. And this is also when the toilet boxes or the makeup boxes became popular. In 3000 BCE, the Chinese like to put fingernail polish on, and they made it out of gum, gelatin, beeswax, or egg whites. And the color that they had on their nails meant like their different class rank, if they were rich or poor. The Grecian women used white lead on their face and mulberries as like a blush. And then they also like to make fake eyebrows out of oxen hairs. In 15,000 BCE, the Japanese and Chinese used rice powder, and they like to shave off their eyebrows, so they didn't have eyebrows at that time. And they used henna to dye their hair, and they had their teeth in either like black or gold. In 100 AD, in Rome, they used sheep fat and blood for their nail polish. And then they also, mud baths were a popular thing at that time. And the men in Rome also liked to dye their hair blonde during that time. In 300 to 400 AD, in India, they liked to dye their hair with henna, just like in Rome. And then they also did the henna designs on their hands and then on their feet also, which was like intricate designs. In 1200 AD, perfumes were a big thing, and they were imported from the Middle East to Europe. In 1300 AD, red hair was a big thing, so people dyed their hair red. And then whiteface was also a big thing, so making your face whiter. And then in 1400 to 1500 AD, Italy and France were the biggest cosmetic manufacturing places. And France was biggest for manufacturing a lot of different scents. And then they also started using arsenic instead of lead in makeup. In 1500 to 1600 AD, light skin was a big popular thing in European countries, so they wanted to make themselves more pale than tan. Now that you know more about the history of makeup, some of the most recent things that have happened in makeup is that hair dye was created in 1907 by Eugene Schuler. He was also the creator of L'Oreal, and he also invented sunscreen in 1963. Maybelline was founded by T.J. Williams in 1914. The bobby pin that we love to put in our hair was invented in 1922. In 1932, Revlon was founded, and according to Medusa's makeup, men wore makeup until the 1850s, so if you thought it was only women that wore makeup, you're totally wrong. Men were totally wearing makeup too. So I've told you a lot about the history and a timeline of how makeup was created and who really influenced our makeup decisions, and a little bit more about recently what the makeup scene was like and who created some of our favorite brands today. And we have just created such a more safer way, rather than using white lead paint or anything like that in our makeup, that makeup is a lot better today, but we have the Egyptians and India and Rome to thank for our makeup choices today.